Diving into your hottest take, Felipe, Aaron Rodgers shouldn't go anywhere.
Oh.
That's my hot take. I 100% disagree. I think he should leave. I think he should be knocking on that general manager's door, whoever's door, and needs to be asking, hey, what's up? What can we do to get me out? Because I don't think what that front office has gave him in the past, really almost I would say his whole career. They don't sign other free agents around the league till the past few years. They're a team that signs their guys. They've never drafted him a receiver or a running back in the first round in his 15 years. So they're drafting backups the first 2 rounds this year. I don't believe that this team, his organization, this front office gives him is a better shot if he were to look elsewhere.
All right. So one, what is saying that other organizations are going to give Aaron Rodgers a better chance? Like other organizations are going to make Aaron Rodgers better. 2, yeah, they didn't draft any starters at running back or receivers, and they haven't done that recently. But last time I checked, Aaron Jones is pretty damn good, and I would say he's the top 10 running back in the NFL.
He is good.
Devontae is arguably a top 5 receiver in the NFL. They do have talent across the team, the offensive line, and defensively they're not horrible. And also, there has been talk over the past few years that Aaron Rodgers has been at the root of a lot of those problems within the organization. Make a choice. They chose Aaron Rodgers. But how deep did those problems really go within the organization? Was it just that Mike McCarthy? We know that Aaron Rodgers has a little ego problem. We know that he wants to be that dude. So if he goes to another team, his personality ain't changing. He ain't changing. And then at the same time, if he goes to another team and then that team doesn't win, if he wins there, then yeah, Aaron Rodgers won with this organization. The Packers could have been a problem. That's going to be the narrative. But if he goes to the other team and he doesn't win with that team, then it's Aaron Rodgers, struggled all these years with Green Bay, and now he's with another team and could have won with that team. Well, was he the problem? And especially if we haven't even thought about if Mike McCarthy wins in Dallas. If Mike McCarthy wins in Dallas, then what? So,
but going with that angle, like if Mike McCarthy, like you have different talent across the board, rather than if you have one great player. Because if you leave somewhere, you have a different team, right? You have a different structure. You have different players. So it's kind of harder in football to say like, oh, if he doesn't win here or if Mike McCarthy wins in Dallas, because as a collective unit, person 1 or person 2 or whatever might have, better opportunity there collectively.
Well, can you win in the league without a great quarterback?
No.
It's been, but it's
Nick Foles, Joe Flacco. I mean, I don't without a great quarterback. No, I don't think you can. A great quarterback, it depends how many great quarterbacks are in the league. If it's just 4, then yeah, I think more than.
This is one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can win without a great quarterback, but if you're not close, if you're closer to average than great, then no, I don't think you can. But with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, with that, I don't like what that front office does, or really what has he done. And you have Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, cool, 2 good, weapons. But in today's league, you got to have more weapons. I mean, you got to have a tight end. They don't have one. You got to have a second and third receiver. Like Valdez-Scantling. I mean, he can run deep, but he drops a lot of balls. So I mean, it's like in what I heard from Bill Simmons' podcast. Out of 26 quarterbacks in the modern day era that are in the Hall of Fame, not players going back, playing in, in terrible fields with ant piles on them.
No face.
Yeah. 16 of those 26, I believe is the number, have left and played more than one team, have gone somewhere else. So I don't think it's really as damaging as we or some fans might think it is. Because, I mean, if you're somewhere and you're in the twilight of your career and you think I have a better chance and you want to look elsewhere, all glory to you, man. I want to see that happen. It's just a risk you take.
So 26 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, you said 16 of them?
Yeah, modern day era. So there's more, but
Right. But what did you consider Aaron Rodgers is he's definitely in the top 10 within that list and maybe top 5?
Oh, I think Aaron Rodgers, talent-wise, he's the greatest I've seen. But if you want to go like,
so he transcends that. He transcends that list. You know what I mean? So I don't think we should be comparing them. And if you want to say Joe Montana played for another team, he had Steve Young up his ass, calling him right.
They didn't know Steve Young was going to be Steve Young.
The 49ers might have known that, you know? And the Colts with Peyton Manning, you want to use that example. That's another great quarterback that Aaron Rodgers is within in that list. His neck problems, the season he missed, the Colts had lost. I think they went like 1-15 or something like that. Really, they tanked because they knew who was coming up in that draft.
They knew who they were. They knew who was coming up.
They knew they wanted Andrew Luck, the successor to Peyton Manning, so they really let him go. So a lot of these were forced. Aaron Rodgers is finally getting the chance to prove that Mike McCarthy was the problem, because we all know about that friction they had. That's been publicized. So is it the organization? A lot of it has already been placed on Mike McCarthy. Is it the organization? Was it Mike McCarthy? Is it Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. I think if you really want to prove that you're that guy and that you're one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, like you are, or that you're the greatest quarterback of all time, you want to be considered like Tom Brady, then you have to win in Green Bay. You have to overcome these difficult
circumstances. He has won in Green Bay, though.
Huh?
He has won in Green Bay.
Won in Green Bay, but he hasn't won recently, and his playoff record is, I don't want to say very bad. It's not abysmal, but it's when you consider great quarterbacks and you look at Aaron Rodgers' record purely in his playoff record, then Joe Flacco has a ring, and I think he's been more successful percentage-wise in the playoffs than Aaron Rodgers.
Football is so dependent on – it's hard to judge a player based off their, team accomplishments, rings, accolades, team accolades or whatever, because –
I would love to say Tony Romo is one of the greatest ever, but he's not. If he had a couple rings, he would be.
But football –
and he played with terrible teams, but people aren't going to recognize that.
Yeah. I mean, those are the casuals. Like, team, it's so dependent on other players. Like, Aaron Rodgers is not the reason – his playoff percentage might not be great. It ain't him. He ain't the reason why. It's whether it's a defense, whether it's, was McCarthy at the time, whoever it was. I'm not saying no blame goes on Aaron, because he does have an ego. He is stubborn, it seems like. I mean, there's reports out there of how he acts. Might not be the greatest teammate in the world. But I don't think it has to be, hey, I have to win here, or if I go somewhere else and I win, it might not be, hey, or blah, blah. Or if I lose, it's, wow, man, look, you were the problem. I don't believe that, because you're so much dependent on other things. But I just think if he looks and says, hey, I'm tired of this organization and not getting all these weapons or this defense help or whatever. I've been here and we don't really have the greatest relationship. I'm going to have the greatest relationship with the coach, because there's stuff out there. Him and LaFleur might, bang heads a little bit. If he wants to look somewhere else in his twilight of his career, and even if he didn't win, I don't think it'd be damaging at all, because, I mean, it's you're dependent on so many other players, unless you lost with, a great structure and a great team.
Well, yeah, no, I agree with you. I just at this point in Aaron Rodgers' career, like if everything else, if there was never turmoil, if there was never any of that kind of stuff that was publicized, then I would completely agree with you. It's there's a lot determinant on quarterback success. But because of all that stuff, I feel like the pressure's on Aaron Rodgers, because now you got to prove that it was everybody else's problem and not yours. It's more so a narrative thing. And I think that if Aaron Rodgers wants to prove that he's the best quarterback, and we all know Aaron Rodgers, how he sees himself, and I do think he wants to be considered the greatest quarterback ever, not just the most talented quarterback ever, because we could consider a lot of people the most talented ever and not the greatest, but nobody really wants that title. Then he's got to win in Green Bay, just because of all the off the field controversy that we've kind of tied in with his career, the excuses we've kind of made, and the excuses not that he's made publicly, but that's been demonstrated, behind the scenes with management and all that kind of stuff. So I think if for his legacy, he's got to win in Green Bay, and especially if he doesn't win outside of Green Bay, then I think it looks even worse.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what. I mean, I'm sure he won't do that. But hey, that's why it's my hot take. I think, man, he should really look into that and look elsewhere, because I believe I think it's more beneficial than what he's doing right in his twilight of his career. He doesn't want to go down. You keep losing in the second round or whatever. But yeah, I mean, we'll see.